Banter podcast with Cole and Jedis.
What the fuck's happening, people? Welcome to the General Banter podcast. Coming everywhere. Coming at you live from the house. I have built a miniature studio here. It has foliage, by Christ. We are here. Your boy is loaded. Your boy is loaded with the Omicrons. I'm the Omicron Dawn here. We're COVIDed up. It finally crept up on us. We got it. Fuck yeah. Avoided it this whole time. You know, my wife was sick, immunocompromised. We were being very careful. You know, hand sanitizer, fucking floor to ceiling in the house. For years, for literally 2 years. You know, she went and got some chemo treatment. We were being very careful. Even before COVID, I was avoiding taking photos of people after gigs. People thought it was rude, you know? And we avoided it. Hospital visits, in and out, you know, me going back to gigging, stuff like that, around people. Avoided the fucking alpha, delta, blah, blah, blah. It comes around. And eventually, where do I get COVID? Armagh. I go and do a gig in Armagh. Thanks for coming out, guys, by the way. 650 people in a goddamn function room of a hotel. That's the way it's going to be from now on, guys. You know, fuck, you know, maybe I come to your town and normally I'm like, guys, I'm playing the local fucking goddamn theatre here. And you're like, I never go out in the theatre. It's shit. It's there. You can't bring the drinks in. Well, guess what? Times are changing. I'm coming to your I'm going to the places that you go out in. That's where I'm going to when I'm doing a domestic tour. I'm going to be like, where do you go out? Oh, you go drinking in this fucking hall over here? We'll get 600 people in there. It's going to be a goddamn party. So that's how it's going to happen. We had 650 people in goddamn Armagh, which is insane. It's like playing two marketplace theatres. Unreal. I had Connor Keys with me and I had Aaron McCann with me, and they had a great time. They went up. They had a great time. Can't speak for them. I assume they had a great time. They went up. They did some jokes, and they came off stage and they were like, "Oh, it's fucking some gigs, sir." And there was a few of us backstage, and yeah, somehow your boy a couple of days later, you know, I was doing my usual shit. I must speak to Aaron actually. How the fuck did he not get it? I'm gonna send him a voice message right now. Hold on a second. Because you know what he is? He's the jammiest guy of all time. It wouldn't surprise me if the only thing he caught that night was goddamn chlamydia. Hold on. I have this real problem where, like, instead of just putting someone in my phone as like Aaron McCann, I have him down as like fucking. I should have him down as the Loaf McCann. Here, tell me this: how come everybody that was at Armagh had fucking COVID and you don't? Tell me that. Unless you do have COVID now, in which case I'm sorry. So there you go. I sent Aaron a message, but yeah, it was the day after. What was that? The 29th of, you know, maybe not 29th, maybe 30th. I'm walking around the field with my son, as I do, and he's going like, tractors. What his new thing is to go watch tractors, and he just hands me the remote. Watch tractors, you know. And I put my hand in my pocket and I take it out and I give him the finger and I go, get fucked. All right, get the fuck out of my face. So anyway, I'm walking around the field and I'm like, I get that, you know, that deep down moist cough that you get where you're like, it's like, this is what it feels like, blow all the air out of your lungs, Wim Hof it, and then cough there. That one. I was walking around the field going, jeez, that's a bit fucking dank, isn't it? You know, the fucking, I've just smoked the real fucking sticky joint and I'm like, that's what it felt like. I was like, Jesus Christ. You know, wearing fucking 2 hoodies and a body warmer. I'm like, oh God. And I start to get that fucking thing on my back where I'm like, you know, when I'm getting sick, when I'm older now, I'm like, right, if I get the stingy dangly bit at the back of the throat, that's the cold. If I get the shivery back, get ready for the flu here. Then I'm getting the shivery back and I'm like, oh God, I feel fucking weird here. No stingy throat though. And then I go to bed, you know, watch TV and fucking chilling, and then have a bit of a restless night, and I wake up in the morning and Maureen's there, obviously, and the baby's there in the bed with us. And I woke up about 7. I was like, you gotta get up and get the fuck out of here. She's like, what do you mean? I was like, I just don't feel good. Get up and just go. Just fucking Leave me to die. Get up. Leave me to fucking die. Throw a couple of boxes of celebrations under the door. You know, bring me a handful of tea bags, and I'll use my own saliva to make tea. And that was New Year's Eve, and the whole day I just basically just lay there. And you know sometimes you're bluffing it. You're like, I've got the cold. I'm gonna sit in bed here and watch fucking box sets or whatever. This was a bit different, where it was just like, I'm going to lie here and let the time pass. I couldn't concentrate on anything. Had a bit of a sore, weird though, no cold, just sore head and sort of shivery body. And then it got really quite achy, where it was like, ugh, fucking lower back was sore, kidney area was sore, joints were, my fucking elbows and shoulders and all were sore. I was like, fuck this. So that day I just sat and did nothing all day in bed. And then the next day, a little bit better, got up sort of mid-morning, threw a load of fucking tablets into me, and then I was really fucking loosening up. But meanwhile, the whole time testing fucking negative up in this bitch. You know, giving it the deep throat on the boyos there. And then as I was coming out of it, about 2 days later, about the 2nd or 3rd of January, I'm like, fuck it, I'll do another test here. And then I'd already had about fucking 4 or 5 negative tests. So I did one, set it on the table. Maureen did one. She was weird though, because she was already getting like vaccines because she had her whole fucking oil changed. She was getting her baby vaccines. So she's in there getting fucking measles, mumps, and fucking whatever other horse shit you get when you're a baby. And so she didn't know whether she was feeling rough from that or just what the crack was. And yeah, we did 2 tests. And at that point I was like, sure, fuck it, I'll do it for the crack. And then I set it on the table and walked in and I was faffing about. And then I went back in, just went, oh shit, I did a test, forgot about that. Looked at the test, roaring red. Absolutely raging red. And I was like, oh, this explains a lot. Now, this is the issue, okay? I was over the worst of it. I had a rough day in bed. I felt a bit better the next day. This was the day after. I was grand, you know? I got up in the morning, felt a bit like, ugh. Had a couple of Lemsips and an ibuprofen. I was like, fucking back on top, baby. Let's go. And my wife had assumed that also because, you know, that's a tip for all you husbands out there. If you're sick, stay there till you're actually better, because if you jump out of bed and you're like, I feel marginally better, your wife takes that as, oh, you're back to the full bill of health. You're back to full strength. Take the fucking bins out. Your main and only purpose in life in this house. Take the fucking bins out. Because that's a whole other issue that, you know, has, you know, raised its ugly head over Christmas. It's getting to the point now where I'm like, at least fuck it out the door for me. You know, at this point we're staging some sort of fucking dirty protest where we're like, you know, that's the thing. They're talking about global warming and everything. Man, you got to cut down your carbon footprint. You got to look after your plastics. You got to fucking reuse this and all that shit. And what's the solution? Do you have any solutions? And they're like, yeah, fucking Greta Thunberg's. They're like, you must simply keep all of your rubbish in your house. That is how we solve it. Really? Is there any sort of treatment for this stuff? No, you get the little green bag with the food waste and you basically fill 9 or 10 of them and you stack them up until they're almost touching the cooker hood, and that is how we avoid dumping that into the environment, is you keep bags and bags of juicy rubbish with juice and, you know, the egg whites and various other squishy juices from tea bags pishing out all over the top of the worktop, and you leave it there for an extended period of time until magically a male comes along and picks it up and throws it outside. Is this highly sexist? Probably. But what was my point? Yeah, we had the COVID. We had the fucking COVID, and it's, you know, praise be to Allah that we didn't get any of the early versions of COVID, which were real deep chesty yokes. But you know, we've got this Omicron, which seems to be, you know, from what I read, and don't at me, bro, because it seems like I can't open my mouth about fucking corona. It seems to be that this one has so many mutations that it's very dominant, and a lot of people who know a lot more than I do are claiming that it might be the beginning of the end of COVID, as in this is the most dominant one. It seems to be not the worst fucking, you know, ton of bricks you can be hit with, and it might just become like the common COVID. Could be wrong. Read it twice from two different people, but here, you know, it didn't feel any different to just being regular fucking sick of a winter. But here, what the fuck would I know? What would I know? The main thing to take away from the whole conversation is don't go to Armagh. I had fucking everybody message me after that too. Went to see your gig and all, it was good crack. Got COVID. 50 messages. Went to see your show. Got COVID. That wasn't even the worst bit. We were just sat behind some fucking glue bags. It's one of the things I hate more, the most in life is when people. First of all, never mind the price of the ticket, okay? Because that almost seems like that's the easy part, you know. If you have a job and you're doing all right for yourself and you've fucking 20 quid spare and you go, do you want to go out? All right, 2 tickets bought. Who for? Colin Geddes. Who's that? Never mind. We'll see. We'll see later. We'll go out. I'll get you an espresso martini. Don't need more about it. And that's the easy bit. The hard bit is, right, who's looking after the kids? Are we doing this? Are we both drinking? Right, we'll get a taxi. We'll get ourselves down there. We're in the venue. We're buying drinks all night. What time's the sport on? Oh fuck, blah blah blah. All that shit. That whole night out. That whole time invested. The randomness of where you get sat that night. And the randomness of what other people were doing pre-coming to the show. Pre-coming to the show? Fucking rephrase. Pause, as the rappers would say. If you're pre-coming, and then you just, you know, you've all the things are in place, and then all of a sudden they set you behind some absolute fucking cat dealers, which you do get at a few gigs, and especially Christmas. The first night at the SSE was just about nearly ruined by fucking a bunch of lunatics. Because people don't know how to act. Oh, I'm going to do a show at 7 o'clock here. Let me crack into the bucky here right after my goddamn cornflakes. Are you out of your mind, bitch? Sort your fucking life out. But anyway, that's where we got it. Still no answer from Aaron. No answer. Yeah, that was it. We saying that the gig was great. You know, I'll be doing a lot more of those, like I said. We're currently I wrote in on this page here, Armagh gig in brackets cesspit, because some dude was like, is Armagh a cesspit? So yeah, that's basically what we've been doing, and we've been isolating, which is the most annoying bit. It's, you know, it's amazing how beneficial it is to just be able to pop to the shop the odd time. Now we're like, can someone go get us bread, please? And fuck it out the window of a moving car. And I'm just stuck with, you know, my family, which is the worst. Just sitting here. You know, the baby's kind of sick too. I mean, the fucking baby, Jesus Christ. You can take being sick yourself. See, when the baby's sick, nightmare. You know? And Maureen was about 2 days behind me with regards to getting sick, sort of. So I already had a day in bed. I was like, I'm fucked. She looked after the baby. The next day, I was coming around a bit. We were both kind of together. The night after that, she started to feel pretty rough. So we got Eddie to bed. He was fucking, you could tell he was getting a wee bit of a temperature and whatever. And we have a full size bed in his room. So he was being a bit upset. She went in. I didn't realise to what extent she was kind of sick. So she went in and I was like, I'll just fucking stay here. You know what I mean? I'm still a wee bit sick. I'll just, if you need me, shout me, basically. We're a matter of feet away. And we've got 2 fucking monitors now, which sounds like the house is haunted. We got the video monitor. She bought another one. So if the baby cries, like, and you're like, okay, is it a haunted house? Waiting for the wee ghost on a string. Whatever. And I'm lying there, and I'm, you know, I've got this, one thing I've got from the COVID is this weird creepy body, like almost like restless leg syndrome in my whole body. It just feels like you're kind of like a low vibration, like ugh. And eventually I got over that. I was just about to fall asleep, and all I heard was Colin, and I run in, and the room is pitch black. Okay, so I'm like, what's going on? I'm whispering, and the baby's crying like, wah, and then all I hear is, and he's just barfing all over the place. He's barfing, and like, he was a baby at one stage, and he was drinking milk, and you know, babies be sick all the time. Like, this motherfucker is over 2 years old now, so he's eating like a bodybuilder. You know, he's eating a lot of fucking milky oaty fucking berries and peanut butters and shit like this. So when he barfs, bro, full blown man barf, and he's like all over the place, and I'm like, oh Jesus Christ. You know, you just have to fold the duvet up and keep the sick in it. Disaster. And then we get him up and bring him downstairs, trying to give him fucking Calpol and all this shit. And you know, he's lying on top of me, and he sort of, every time he coughed, it was like, oh, here we go again. And then he would just barf down the front of me, and that one was a nightmare, because I was like, we're on the couch now, I'm not gonna let him barf on the couch. So I just hold him tightly and let him barf down the front of my t-shirt. So he's like, and he was like looking at me dead in the face, just be like, as he chewed it a little bit, and then he would just be like, watch tractors, as if like, I'm so done with the boking up the berries, I'm so done with it being sick, just watch tractors. And then, you know, we made a fucking, I don't know what survival technique it is with our family. We're like, if the baby's sick, we just make some sort of like den in the living room, and we're all just sitting around, you know, like on fucking beanbag beds, just waiting for this child to get better. And then he would cough a couple times and sit up on all fours, and then just like, and at that point he was just being sick like fucking see-through fluid. This is disgusting, but just a cool story, really. And yeah, but like the fact that he was just like, watch tractors, please God, just let me watch the tractors for fuck's sake. So that's been it, just fucking sitting around the house doing nothing, me trying to set up this little setup. But here we are, we're live, we're doing a podcast. It might not be the most glamorous one, but you know what, we're going for it. And once we can get back in the office, we'll get back to a nice big shiny podcast every week. And I'm trying to get in the way of doing a lot more podcasts like this, just quick fucking, just fire them off at home. And hopefully we can begin work on the old home office very soon. Get a nice setup at home, because that'll be the gateway to just cranking it out, getting those Patreon podcasts up, keeping the folks happy. There was a bit of controversy over Christmas. We had it was usually supposed to be the 12 pods of Christmas, and it's funny how people can be affected by praise. You know, people always say, like, you know, you could put something up and the comments are full of things like, this is great, and then somebody will say something and you go, fuck. That's the thing that you focus in on, is like the one negative comment. And same thing with the 12 pods of Christmas. I know people were freaking out, because normally it's supposed to be 12. Okay, we did that last year. It was a gargantuan amount of work. It was absolutely fucking ludicrous hours we were putting in, like right before Christmas, and I was well up for it again this year. Apart from we just there was things happening that weren't happening last year. Big SSE shows, tour shows, fucking just there was a load of things. COVID was flying about, the start of that Omicron wave where everybody was testing positive. We had gigs in Lavery's that they were like, we just don't have any staff left. Everybody's testing positive or is sick or is isolating. So we had to pull the fucking comedy night. We've pulled it for all of January. But the 12 Pods Christmas is the same thing. I had 6 recorded. They were great podcasts. I always know when Niall tells me. Niall's like, fucking, they're some of the best ones all year. And that motherfucker's jaded. You know what I mean? He's heard fucking everything. Just sitting there glazed over, listening to me talk shit while he's secretly trying to buy NFTs, the goddamn freak. So I'm like, you know, whatever. I had 6 of them recorded, and it was coming up to Christmas, and I was like, right, I can maybe squeeze some guests in after Christmas. And then I was just like, am I ever going to get fucking off here? Am I ever going to just be able to fucking switch off for a day? And I just got to the point where I was like, fuck it. And even in the house, it was really hard. It was like, can I get fucking, I'm going to go do some work here. And then you can't be in the house because the baby just wants to fucking play with you. No matter what room you're in, you can sense it. You'd be like, oh, he's upstairs. I can hear him. Let me try and get up through this baby gate. So I just couldn't do it. And I went, right, fuck it. I'm not putting any up. And I literally freaked out. I was like, I'm not going to fucking do any of this shit. Fuck it. And, had Christmas Day, blah, blah, blah. And did the big shows. Never even talked about them yet, did I? I'll come back to them. I'll write that down. SSE. So I was just like, I'm not going to put them up. And then after a few days, I was like, do you know what? It's still fucking, you know what I mean? There's still 6 podcasts there that are an hour and a half plus. There's fucking 10 hours of podcast in there. I'll put it up. They're definitely worth listening to. I changed it from the 12 pods of Christmas to the pods of Christmas. I think putting a number on it puts you under a lot of pressure. Because I was just going to start cranking out podcasts like this at home. And I was just like, I don't think they're going to be of any fucking quality, to be honest. I'm only doing them to make up numbers. I'll put out the 6 that are good fucking podcasts. So I'll put them out. And I was like, right, if I'm going to put these tiers in, it's going to be now, basically, because I was at a point where we had tried certain things. We had tried like the SummerSlam and whatever. And I've never had tiers on any of the Patreons, and people like that. And the truth, do you know what it is? The truth is, if you're gonna have no tiers, most people are gonna come in at the lowest possible end. It's not like they can't afford more. Even if you can afford more, people will be like, well, I'll just click the lowest one. Who gives a flying fuck? And why wouldn't you? Do you know what I mean? But the problem was, any time that we would take a fucking step back and go, right, let's take a big run at this and produce extra podcasts, these SummerSlams or whatever, you might get a bump in the numbers, but everybody's might only be paying £1 to get into that extra thing. This is real inside baseball. This is bullshit, but I'm trying to explain myself to the people who are fucking going crazy over here. You would do all this work, which quite literally costs thousands of pounds. I know that's hard for people to believe, but when you start to pay producers and for post fucking production, and you're in a place that you rent and you fucking drive there and blah blah blah, all this other shit that no one cares about costs a lot of money. And if you were to do 12 extra podcasts for Christmas, like quite literally the 6 that I produced there, going up to the office, paying a producer, all that shit, all that equipment, all the light, all the fucking electricity, internet, all that shit, it would be thousands of pounds to create 6 podcasts, which I know sounds mental, but that's the truth of it. So I was just at the point where I was like, right, I've talked about tiers for long enough, I'm going to bring them in. And I just brought them in. And people were like, this is fucking disgusting. And people were just pulling fucking lies out of their arse. Like, you said current patrons would never be subjected to tiers. And you're like, well, there's an element of truth to that, as in everything that you have on Patreon, all the podcasts, all the series, all the specials up to that point, you can still access at whatever point you're at. But for certain things that we do put a lot more work into, you have to be in a certain tier. Everybody in the world does it. It also coincided with certain admin things having to be done on Patreon. So like, I was at a point where I had to change. I was working in dollars, and I was like, I have to change this into pounds, basically. And if you're gonna change that at a time like now when they have tiers and all that sort of shit in, you have to give certain benefits and all. I'm like, right, well, I'm just gonna introduce tiers now, because it keeps everybody right. If I do more work and offer more products at a certain price, the money's gonna come back in. It's gonna get paid for. Whereas, you can still, if you want to pay £1, there was, that was always the thing. You could come into the Patreon at $1, which is less than £1, in fact. But we've switched to Great British Pounds now, and you can come in at £1, and you still get the very basic, which will be an extra podcast a week, and then at $3, you're gonna get the podcast and the video, and then at £5, you kind of get everything. You get all the series, you get the podcast, you get the video podcast, you're going to get everything, mainly in that. The idea would be most of the benefits are at that £5 mark. And then the £10 one is just there for a bit of a flex, and there are people who, I've had all sorts of messages, people going, bad form, lad, bringing in the fucking tears. I suppose I put up a highlight video of the year, which took fucking hours to edit. People were like, I suppose, we're going to be charged for this and all this shit. And they're like, no, not really. You don't have to do any of this shit. You literally don't have to do any of it. This is just the professional thing to do. And the thing is, for as many people who complained about it, there were people who readjusted, went in at the £5, and they will benefit from that. Now, of course, COVID came along and has fucked up the immediate start, the off-the-line start that I would have liked to get. But the thing is, the money has already went up, which means we can already do more work. Because it was at that point where if I was wanting Niall to do more stuff, it was going to cost a lot more money, and it wasn't smart business-wise. And this is a lot of information going out that I don't really have to give you at all, but I just thought I would lay it out there. Because we were hitting the point there where I was like, right, I would really like to put the foot down with work, but it's going to get to the point where we either have to take someone else on or whatever. It's just going to cost way too much money. But if the money's there, we can go at it. And I'm trying to make the recording of these podcasts a lot easier, a lot closer to home, so we will get more. And I'm excited. I'm very fucking excited that we can go ahead and do that shit. And a massive thank you to everyone who changed their pledge. You know what I mean? That's annoying. Even to do that admin, never mind the money. It's like, I can't see these fucking 6 podcasts. All right, let me adjust. There's a £5. And I've had messages, people going, this is a fucking disgrace and all. And then, meanwhile, everybody has tiers on their Patreon. Everybody. There's people who have tiers on their Patreon and they fucking don't do anything. So, and then have people going like, glad to see you finally taking care of yourself on Patreon and all this here shit. So, you can't win, but you don't hear from the people who are happy enough. That's all. And do you know what? Thanks to the people who have paid in before and then don't agree with any changes I've made and they've left. But do you know what? They've helped it get to where it is, which is in this bedroom right now. Because the Omicron Dawn is back in action. Anyway, I just thought I would skim over that pretty quickly. That's the thing, we got the fucking SSE recap video coming out. Niall's working on that. That'll be going up on Patreon at the $5 thing. We'll be jumping straight in tomorrow, probably with a Patreon podcast. Once we can get back in the office, we're gonna get some guests. It's all gonna be fucking off to the races, like. I booked a thing in here with our boy Matthew from Best of Belfast, who was a divisive character, but he's a fucking smart dude. I like listening to him. We're going to go do sauna sessions with him, where we sit in a fucking sauna somewhere near Benone. And he's just doing an audio version of it. I'll make a vlog. That'll be Patreon stuff. We'll have a laugh with it. I'm saying all this, and I might well be shadow banned, because your boy is sticking up videos that have naughty words in it, and the internet doesn't like it. I talked about this on the 12 pods. I'll put something up like, oh, here's a wee cute bit of comedy. Here's a wee something else. And then I'll be like, here's a bit about ISIS. And they're like, oh, no one's allowed to watch that. I'm like, oh, you fucking babies. We can't say ISIS. You can't talk about COVID. You can't fucking say anything. You can't swear in the first, whatever it is, 60 seconds, or they won't monetize you. All this horse shit. You're like, the internet is literally fucking filth. You've got bits in there. You've got bits in there where it's like, oh, I can't say a bad word. And then there's some like fucking just 18-year-old who's doing some stuff on the internet where they're like, TikToks, they're like, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. Press on the lower stomach. If you know, you know. Do you know what I mean? As in when you're getting fucking rifled in the back of a Corsa and someone's pressing down your lower stomach, Bit less room inside. Disgusting. Go to school. Bring back fingering is right. You know what I mean? Some of the stuff you see online, you're like, how is this possible? And then you just can't talk about certain things, but you can be like borderline fucking pornographic in your school uniform. You're like, what is going on here? The place is fucked. Disaster. You know, what was the one I seen? The girl was like, you know, your man's face when you grab his balls while he's fucking reeling you doggy style. This is the face, actually. But Jesus Christ. Give me fucking strength. I'm looking at my old podcast here on screen. And then we'll have the exclusive one on... you know, we got the old fucking white brick wallpaper in the background there. Wasn't a bad look. Nice light and everything. Liked it. But yeah, what else did we have? We had the SSE shows. What I'm saying is patreon.com/General Banter Podcast. We got shit coming up. I've signed up to a couple of other people's fucking podcasts recently on Patreon, and see fucking much else on there. Much bonus material? I don't fucking think so. We're in a transitionary period. We're always in fucking transitionary periods, you know what I mean? I read that on a fucking business page the other day. They're like, if you're not fucking breaking down and changing your business model every fucking 6 months, you're not growing. And I read that and I was like, I don't think we're fucking growing at all. The amount of times we have to fucking rebuild this shit. You know the amount of times you fucking think you have a good idea and then everyone around you is doing the same fucking idea. It's goddamn crazy. Did I talk about the SSE shows, did I? I can't even think. What was the last podcast I put up? Did I put one up on Patreon? Anyway, let me see. I may well have mentioned it. By the way, if you get onto my YouTube, I want you to subscribe and leave an old comment under the General Banter podcast highlights. You can watch that. There's a comment there. Get us. Are these coming out for the regular customers, or do we need to shell out more money? Put out next to no content apart from podcasts in your new tiers. Snorkel my ass indeed. There you go, bro. Let me see. Just, you can't fucking win, man. You cannot win with these people. Again, $1 a month. Let's see. What was the last podcast did I fucking... Look at that, man. I'm scrolling back so far. Fair play to you if you've listened to all the... Here's the thing. I sign up to a couple of fucking Patreons. Tim Dillon, people like that. He's putting out bonus podcasts. And if you miss one, and then you're like, oh, he's got a regular podcast out. Oh, he's got another fucking Patreon one out. You're like, that's 3 I have to listen to now. And you're like, it goes past so goddamn quickly. Flat out with the 12 pods of Christmas right now. Just checking in with yous. Hellish Relish. And that went out December 14th. So yeah. I haven't talked about the SSE yet. Thank you to everyone who came out. It was goddamn magical. I have a couple of shout outs to do. We had some people come around just to fucking make the thing a bit easier. First of all, on the first night we had we had a whole load of cool shit, you know what I mean? The first time I did the SSE, I was like, I want to make a fucking point here, you know what I mean? I'm going to do both halves myself, fucking 45-50 minutes each half of stand-up. You know, make a point, because people were like, who's your support? And I was like, fuck support, man. I don't need no goddamn support. So I went out and did, you know, both halves myself. Felt like, yeah, fuck it. I seem to be like the first one doing this. Apart from like Kilday and all, but I don't know when the fuck he did it. It's like, I'm going to be the first guy to do this. I know there's going to be a lot more coming after me doing this shit, so let me fucking really make a point. Godzilla. You know, it was huge. And it was great. And then the second time was like, right, it got organised, it got moved because of COVID. Vibe was different, you know, vibe was a lot more tentative, you know, people were a bit more on eggshells a wee bit, and then it got moved. People were raging about that. You know, once again, can't please them all. People were like, how am I supposed to go on a fucking Tuesday now? Are you joking me? I'm like, well, it's the week of Christmas, you know, people do shit before Christmas. Fuck that. So, yeah. This time I was like, we're just going to have fun. Decided I wanted a DJ. You know, I'd never I met DJ John Boy a couple of times, just very briefly, in passing, and then I had him on Instagram, and I was like, who do I know that's a fucking banging hip hop DJ? And I just literally, like, on the day of me having that thought, like, let me fucking get a DJ over here, he messaged me something. Just, I think he was going to the show maybe, or he was like, the show's still going ahead, and I was like, listen, would you like to fucking DJ at this thing? And then I noticed that he DJ'd at boxing events, like in arenas and stuff, and I was like, this guy's gonna have no problem with this whatsoever. So he's like, yeah, absolutely, I'll be down for that. And it was fucking great choice to have a DJ, and he's fucking proper spinning it up, chopping it up like a fucking like a cheap salad, just fucking chopping it up in the corner. It's fucking incredible. See, when you see, like, you see a bunch of these fucking house DJs fucking and then they fuck it, especially the real asshole ones. There's guys that have fun out there, like fucking Mark Blair and all them boys, having a bit of a laugh, you know what I mean? But you see them real fucking assholes just like and then like some shitty build up, and then oh, there's a new bit of fucking hi-hat, and all these fucking dickheads in like Kappa tracksuits pulling themselves off. Nothing happened. But when you see a fucking hip-hop DJ giving it stacks, very impressive. And give him sort of like a bit of a guide of like stuff that I would prefer to be played or whatever, and he just kind of took it and was like, yep, no sweat, threw a bunch of tunes in that fucking went well with it. And the vibe was, the only bit that pissed me off was I could hardly hear it. I was out the back behind the curtain. The second night we fixed that, we brought a monitor out the back, or pointed one round, which helped a lot. And no, that was great. Shout out to John Boy. We also had our friend Laura, who, her page, Yoga with Laura, is that the page? Maureen told her to come down and do some like breathing techniques. Now, absolute game changer. I've done breathing techniques before. I've done yoga with Laura. She came to the house and did like privates whenever Maureen wasn't really allowed to leave the house that much, and we would do all this shit. And yoga's one of them things, you do it and you do all the breathing, and then after you go, I feel fucking better than I've ever felt. And then people are like, would you do this every morning? And you're like, I wouldn't. Which is just human beings, you know what I mean? This made me feel very light and amazing. How often would you do it? Every only when you're here, basically. I'll never do it ever again. These glasses, bro. Murderer. And Death. She came in, and we didn't do yoga, you know what I mean? I think it was a bit late in the day for that. But she did like some breathing techniques, grounding techniques. Me and Aaron are sitting there like two fucking water buffalo that someone shot dead, and we're lying there like fucking, in, hold for 3, you're really like sighing it out. And we did that for a bunch, and then I swear to God, if you had the space and the time to do that before every gig, like, you're not going to do it at Lavery's. You're not going to fucking lie on the floor out the back when all the staff are eating their fucking sweet chili goujons and sit there like but it was fucking incredible. So I remember getting up and like, I think I said the morning or something. I was like, or somebody said to me like, how do you feel? And I was like, I don't feel anything. And I was like, fuck, that's the way to be. Not like shit in your pants, nervous, totally overwhelmed, fucking adrenaline going like mad, excited, sad, or whatever. I was just literally just standing there like, well, I'm standing here now, and then in a second or two I'll walk through that curtain and I'll be standing over there talking. Very strange, but amazing, because you're like, that's kind of how you want to be. Like, I'm sure if you were a fighter or something and they were like, what's the best way to feel before a fight? It's probably just like totally normal, just totally like just here right now, waiting to fight. And that was kind of what it was like. It was like, I remember walking the stage last time I did it in like 2020. Was it? Yeah, I was like fucking just like I was ready for a fight. I remember being freezing out the back of the thing, and I was like, right, here we fucking go. And that sort of heightened state once you're about 40 minutes into your set, you're like, fuck, I'm feeling the effects of this now. Like, I'm feeling like I need to just take a big breath and stretch and fucking go for a sleep. Whereas this time it was very like, I felt very calm, went on, did my set, came off, felt very normal still. There was no fucking big high after it or anything, or low or whatever. It was just like, well, we did that. So that was amazing. So shout out to Laura. And then the second night we had a couple of ones from Kiva from is it Elysium Gym or something? I think is the name. Or Elysium, or is it Recovery or something? They have this sort of sports facility for like recovery, and they got infrared saunas and everything. The strange story was, she actually was a nurse who worked with Maureen quite a bit whenever Maureen was in hospital, and she sort of went out on her own and does these sort of treatments and sports massage and stuff. And Maureen booked her, and her husband came down to do like sports massage before this gig. So once again, I'm fucking like lying in his bed getting fucking all my back done and all this shit, and I was kept complaining about like, oh, I've got this fucking sore arm, I think I've tendonitis or something from like training a bit, and it just kept flaring up. It was aching in the fucking meat of my forearm, and she's working that, no, working the old, it felt like your funny bone, and I was like, oh, can't feel my hand. And yeah, we did that, and yeah, it was just fucking, it was class. Went on stage all fucking rubbery. Once again, got the neck done. I was like, how does my neck feel? It feels like it's not there. It feels like my head's floating above my body. It's class. And they stayed for the show, and yeah, and then afterwards we had Al & Co, which is like a sort of mobile mixologist. You know, they did Maureen's sister's wedding. Shout out to Aaron, and they came down and just made cocktails. And it's a bit, you know, everyone else had a nice night out. Everyone was out from fucking 7 o'clock drinking, and in the family and friends little suite up at the top and all this here shit. I come off stage and I was like, fucking let's go. Pizza Works as well. Shout out, they left some pizza down. Unreal as usual. It's fun to see like top quality pizza get dropped off, and you stand back and you just watch people open boxes and take a bite and go, fuck me. Fucking hell. That's good. Mainly my dad. My dad not knowing how to socially interact at all. You know, he come off stage and he's like, hi, so good night. No, what's the crack, Wes? No. It's a guy making cocktails. Oh, how much are they? They're fucking for nothing. You know what I mean? They're for free. I'm paying the guy. All right. How much is it? And the pizza and all? Yes, eat the pizza. How about you buy the pizza? No, there's fucking 15 of them. Eat whatever the fuck you want. Oh, Jesus Christ. No. Unbelievable. I'm like, listen, Dad, this is showbiz, baby. You know what I mean? This is showbiz. Get used to it. This is show. I think Elton John says that to people. This is showbiz, darling. 15 pizzas. For me. Oh, I love that video. Where's that one? I'm gonna bring that up. I'm still standing. Bad. Here's one of Elton John just in his garden. That's it there. Now, hopefully this doesn't blow the tits off us. We do have a bit of audio coming in. Hopefully it's decent. 44 minutes, guys. We've got to hit these questions. Come on, bitch.
You can never know what it's like. Your blood like when it freezes just like ice. There's the cold and lonely light that shines from you. You wind up like the wreck you hide behind that mask you use. Get the things who will never win. Look at me, I'm a coming back again. Got a taste of love in a simple way. You need to know I'm still standing. You just fade away. You know I'm still standing there and I ever did.
Man. But you know what? He's in his own garden there. He's like, I'll do what the fuck I'm on. Still do. The shades are gangster, by the way. Lung capacity. But yeah, Odyssey shows were great. The first one was slightly ruined by some hecklers from Derry, but you know, standard affair for one of my gigs. And I tried to get them fucked out. I was like, guys, you gotta shut up. You gotta shut up. And then security were walking past, and I'm like, guys, I don't know how more black and white I'm gonna have to put this for you guys. Kick them out. And everyone's like, this must be part of a skit. Is this part of his old skit over here? And you're like, remove these people because they're ruining the show. And then, of course, dude messages me after, like, fucking, you already got us kicked out of the show and all. Yeah, bro, that's the way it works, I'm afraid. Anyhow, what other notes have I got here? There's a load of bollocks. We'll hit some questions soon. I did watch some cool things that I could recommend this week. Comedian Paul Smith, our boy from Hot Water Comedy Club there, did a podcast with James English, Anything Goes podcast, and it's basically him talking about, you know, getting into comedy and sort of dealing with success or lack thereof, and it's fucking fascinating, and it's amazing. Like, there was the Jimmy Carr one that he did for that Diary of a CEO with your guy Stephen Bartlett, and no relation to Mickey, and just to hear the sort of the psyche of a comedian, or even like dealing with getting good at comedy or getting successful, or dealing with, you know, your guy Paul Smith talks a lot about like dealing with certain demons or certain addiction problems, or, you know, he knows when he's like over drinking that he's probably compensating for something else, and then worrying about, like, you know, am I able to get rid of that side of me completely, which I always think about. Like, you're like, what if you go on a full health tear and you were just healthy as shit? You know, I've often threatened to fucking stop drinking, because I do go periods without drinking, long periods without drinking at the minute, and then I'll drink, and then I'll go, why the fuck did I even do that once? You know, I'm just like, that did nothing for me at all, other than make me feel like shit for 2 days. So, very interesting. We got an answer from Aaron McCann here. Also, the Jimmy Carr one is fucking phenomenal. I'm built different. Fucking right, you're built different. I'm built different. Unbelievable. I think with Aaron McCann, the fact that he never stops coughing and spluttering it would be hard to tell. I'm built different. That's certainly true. And then I might send him a picture of a pregnant fat African lady. Wait a minute, I'll send him a picture of a porpoise. These are some real just wrote purpose, spelled it wrong. Idiot. I'm built different. Oh man. What does he look like? There is an animal. Yep. I'll save it. And then he did a load of laughy faces, and then I'll send him a picture of, I honestly, I mean, the dude has been swimming with the fucking sharks when it comes to COVID, like living in London, flying, all that sort of shit. Unreal. Been killing some motherfucking time during the lockdown, or during this isolation period here, but watching some telly, really catching up on some stuff. We got stuck into The Tourist there with Jamie Dornan. Shout out to Jamie Dornan, right? The guy's gorgeous. You know, there's bits in this where he's like using crutches and stuff, and he's like, it looks like he shaved his arms and tanned them, and then did nothing but fucking hammer curls for about a year straight. And he's like, I'm all fucking limping and all. Look at me, I'm a guy in Australia. I've got no memory. What the fuck's going on here? And he's a fucking good looking guy, and he's hugely successful. But I just love how much of he's such just a guy from here when he talks, you know, and not even like in a Liam Neeson way where he's like, I'm from Northern Ireland, of it, you know. He's kind of like, I've got, you know, remnants of the fact that I'm from Northern Ireland. Jamie Dornan just is such fucking a dude that's your mate's mate, you know. Oh, fucking going out tonight, we're heading and all. Oh, sweet. Can fucking Stakey go? I no sweat. Fuck, Stakey's not bad looking fella, is he? Jesus. Right, lads, it's me. I'm Jamie Dornan. And they've obviously let him, run wild with the, bit of artistic freedom. So there's a bit where he avoids being blown up in this fucking bar. Which I'm sure you'd be good at if you're from fucking Northern Ireland, know what I mean? And then he's sitting across the road, or in this cafe, and he's sitting across the road of the bar, and he's chatting shit, and he's like, I don't know who I am. I can't remember who I am. So it is. And someone gives him a pint, and he sips the pint, and he goes, fuck, that's lovely, so it is. You're like such just your fucking mate's mate Stakey, like. Alright, lads, it's a crack. Fuck, that's lovely, so it is. But it's an interesting show. Once again, one of those shows you're like, wrap it up, guys. Wrap it up. 6 episodes. Should have been one movie. Is all I'm saying. What else is this fucking Egypt saying here? Yep. I sent him a picture of a porpoise. He sent me a picture of, is it Big Hero 6 or something? Cheeky cunt. Anyway, we shall hit some questions, will we? What other things? Farts in a jar. I mean, I was going to do some news stories, but by the time this goes out, they're over. There was that woman who was like, oh, I'm selling my farts in a jar. And then it's like, farts in a jar woman thinks she is having a heart attack. Because she's, it's much like the dildoing my anus thing. People getting too much of a demand on OnlyFans. And they're like, listen, I'm going to blow my shoulder out. Pegging my own asshole here. Disgraceful. And it's the same as the farts in a jar one. She's like, you get greedy. She's like, fuck me, I'm selling these for fucking 150 quid a time here. And someone's, some manager's like, you may get on the fucking beans already. And she's like, there's only so many beans I can eat. Trying to get the lid on quick enough. But anyway, let me get some questions here. Jesus Christ, 24 of them. We'll rattle through these and let's see. God damn. Oh well, for fuck's sake, why did I do that? Is there a tune from a TV show or a toy that your child interacts with that's ingrained in your brain for the rest of your life? Yeah, obviously Hot Potato. Hot Potato by the Wiggles. Is right in there. Also, he's a big fan of Shaun the Sheep at the minute, so most of our mornings entail waking up being like absolutely too knackered to move, and he's in the bed beside us, so you put Shaun the Sheep on for like 10 minutes just to let your fucking eyes refocus. Let me see. Hot Potato. Let's see. It's fucking now. If anyone's gonna fucking come at me and pull me offline, it's these motherfuckers.
Hot potato, 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 hot.
A lot of owning a child is sitting around and letting them be entertained by what you are convinced are 4 nonces. Do you know what I mean? You look across the board and you're like, child sex offender. Not so much these ones, these ones probably have kids and stuff themselves, but the fucking Blippy dude or whatever his name is, go to jail. Hey guys, it's me. I'm a fucking pedophile.
Potato, 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 potato.
I'll probably get sued. 11 million hits. How many people just put that on in a fucking cafe? Like, just watch it and just let me eat the fucking poached egg in peace without you pulling my fucking eyelids, you lunatic 3-year-old.
Cold spaghetti, cold spaghetti.
Cold spaghetti, cold spaghetti.
It's a banger, but it's one of them things. Sometimes I maybe have a rough day and I'm like, shit, I have to go do stand up now. And you gear yourself up and you're going to somewhere like Armagh, for Christ's sake. You get a shower and you're like, man, I would have loved to have just worked in a nap at some point here. Like, I'm really fucking struggling. You go when you fucking let the adrenaline take you. And you pump yourself up and you go on stage and you're like, yeah, fucking whatever, and you come off and you got that weird buzz and you're like, fuck's sake, I hate having to do that. I hate having to get myself up for entertain people. But it's fine, because, you know, you got to say bad words and whatever. But if you had to fucking do the same thing and then get up and be like, cold spaghetti, you would just straight up go out the back and be like, poof, splatter the wall.
Spaghetti, cold spaghetti. Cold spaghetti, cold spaghetti. Cold spaghetti, cold spaghetti. Spaghetti, 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 spaghetti.
To who it may concern, we believe that you've been playing our hit single Hot Potato on your shitty fucking podcast, and we would like to have it removed, or we'll fucking kill you. Hot vaginas. Yeah, that one's in my head. Cormac, Hardy, I really enjoyed the pods of Christmas. I did, however, think that on one hand you were pro-vaccine, then on the other, fuck me, here we go. You were not, depending on who you spoke to. I'm all for it. It's basically human PPE. Doesn't stop you getting it, but does inhibit the effects. Anyway, I'm looking forward to listening to you throughout 2022. Keep her lit. Well, it doesn't matter if I do that, because I'm a fucking shitty comedian. You know, if I worked for the World Health Organization, you'd be fucking questioning it. I mean, a lot of times, like, I think it's nearly part of being a comedian. Sometimes you're like, I think both. I literally think both, because at the start of this, when they were like, right, we've not the start of it, like, so when they eventually got round to bringing out a vaccine, I was like, number one, I don't really have a choice. I'm going to take anything that's going to protect me and hopefully protect me some way. No one knew what the fuck it did at the time. You're like, does it stop me getting it? Everyone thought, like, if I get this, I'm not going to get COVID. I'm not going to be able to give it to, you know, my loved ones. And at the time, I was like, get it the fuck. And I did get it. And I don't really feel bad about getting it. Even though Gordo was like, do you feel like tricked into it or something? And I was like, nah, I feel more tricked into these ones. The thing about now is you are witnessing people get COVID and it be a lot less, you know, aggressive. And I was at a point where I was like, right, if that seems fair enough. It seems like you're just going to get like a cold. And I did get it. And I was fucking grand for the most part, you know. Praise be to Allah for that. And now I'm just like, yeah, I don't necessarily feel like getting a fucking booster every fart's end. But that's nothing to do with like me being like against it or where are these coming from or what's in it. It's more just like I can't be arsed. I've had it now. If this sort of Omicron-y vibe thing is the way it's gonna be from now on, I'm like, yeah, I'm not getting fucking 5 more of these fucking things. It should be completely voluntary if you want to get that. Maureen's been in getting a booster. She went in and got monoclonal antibodies. She got all that shit, and I've had none of that shit. And we both got the fucking thing, and we both seem to be fine. So I'm like, it's getting to the point where I'm not against it or anything. I'm just like, I couldn't fucking be arsed, to be honest. I would get it if Maureen was like, you know, I really think you should get that. But I don't know. Anyway, Jazz Strut, Christmas pods were great. Cheers for those. Any resolutions for the new year? In my opinion, there's no point in them. Why wait until the new year to start something new? Well, that's absolutely true. Well, yeah, I mean, I was in bed during New Year's Eve and I was just like, it's just a fucking day. You know, it's not really in any way significant. You know, it could be any day and I'm just in bed. I'm not feeling like I haven't got the year off to a good start because I was fucking sick, but the general vibes, which I was gearing towards anyway, which happened to coincide with a sort of New Year type vibe, was simplifying a lot of things, you know, just bringing it right back to basics, getting my podcasts out, doing it efficiently and quickly and comfortably, closer to home without wasting full days, and trying to reduce stress as much as possible. So just making things a bit easier, simplifying things and doing things that are doing things that are funny instead of worrying about things that are making money, you know. So like I have about 10 sketch ideas, and I'm like, let me just make some real fucking high end, hopefully very funny sketches, just to be like, I can do that, why not? So yeah, just be a bit less fucking stressed, be a bit healthier. Got to hear Lavery's is postponed this month. Are there any gigs going on this month at all in Belfast? I don't know. And that's from Cormac. I actually don't know what the fuck's going on. Lavery's is just one of them things where they were like, listen, you know, everyone's testing positive. We don't want to fucking book staff and then pull staff last minute. That's the most annoying thing. The most annoying thing is like when there's supposed to be 10 fucking staff on, and then you have to go like, sorry, stay at home. Comedy club's cancelled. On top of that, I have to organise fucking lineups each night, and I probably more or less have to turn around to them and be like, no, it's cancelled again. It is quite a small, stuffy venue, blah blah blah. Basically, it was easy. It's sensible and easier to just be like, just lay off it for a month. You know what I mean? I read a thing the other day. They were like, everything in nature is relaxing during January, so why don't you do it too? Even though January's a good month for comedy usually, strangely. But I don't know. We'll just give it a miss. I don't know. I haven't spoke to Dave or anything. I wonder if Pug's on. I actually don't know. Gulp. Look, what's a phrase from a TV show that's become commonly used by you? Might not have been originally from it, but Toast of London. Phrase, you can fuck that sky high, is one of my favourite sayings. Also, Toast back on TV tonight. I've never watched that, and I'm raging at myself that I haven't, because I'm a big fan of Matt Berry, but especially from the Snuff Box days, fucking throwback or what. Whiskey! That's one of the best sketches ever. We were just like, there's a girl moving house and she's got a fish tank, and he's like, hey, let me give you a hand. Takes the fish tank. Is you moving in yourself? And she's like, yeah, we're just moving in. And he goes, just yourself? And he goes, no, me and my boyfriend. And he just drops the fish tank. He's like, whiskey! Incredible. Is there anything sticks with me? Me and Niall always have a joke, which is from I'll play it actually if I can fucking get it. Hang on here. Let me see. Jesus Christ, here we go. Now the spelling on that, absolutely.
It's been a busy few days. What better way to unwind than at Tandy's? I've got a special arrangement with their Norwich branch, who let me into their store after they're closed to the general public. If you're a well-known celebrity, Christmas shopping can be an absolute nightmare. So it's always nice to mooch around without fear of being threatened or pickpocketed. Nice action. Very nice action. That is a very nice action.
So, I've been misquoting it this whole time. Me and Niall, if there's a nice bit of kit floating about, or someone gets a new fucking whatever, some new piece of camera kit or bag or anything tacky, we'll be like, but I don't know why we'll be misquoting it. It's obviously nice action. You know, we've been like fucking, I've been getting stuff and like fucking, you know, a new Zoom recorder, and we're like, it's good action. It's actually nice action. I've been fucking saying it wrong the whole time. But that's the thing that we say flat out. You know, just anything, any small piece of kit. Oh, I got a little multi-tool for whatever. We're like, it's good action. So stupid. A lot of Partridge ones, in fairness. Maureen will go to fucking open a door and I'll be like, probably me next. And I'll fucking dive in front of her. That's one of my favourites. I don't know, there's fucking tons, like, yeah, there's loads, but mainly Partridge ones for some reason. What's the weirdest thing you've been asked to endorse? I mean, recently when sons.co.uk reached out and they were like, hey, do you want do you want to endorse our in fact, it was a podcast sponsor, so it came in automatically, and I was just expected to, because they were paying, so I was like, well, I'm just expected to read this shit. And oh dang. And I was like, motherfucker, you know I have no hair. I already am bald for quite some time. And they're like, yeah, just talk confidently about how good this product works when it comes to regaining hair or stopping baldness. And I'm like, bro, we are balded already, bro. What other weird things have I been asked to endorse? A lot of raffle things, you know, people going like, man, we've a raffle here to give away a fucking, you know, whatever bullshit it is. And I'm like, I can't, how am I supposed to just out of nowhere be endorsing this unless it's mine? But nothing that weird. Tell us about your Christmas dinner. Rating out of 5. 1 equals school dinner. 5 equals Michelin star. Bro, fucking Michelin star all the way. You joking me? I was basically on the fucking 6 pods of Christmas that everyone was giving off about. I was working down to the fucking wire right up to Christmas. So, and then I had family coming down right up to Christmas as well. So, I basically told the in-laws, my mother-in-law was like, I'll cook the vegetables. So she left them. She's like, I've bought them already. I'll leave them up if you want to cook them. So I'm fucking peeling goddamn spuds and fucking parsnips and all this shit. And I prepared them all and fucking diced everything and covered it in fucking rosemaries and honey and all this shit. And then she cooked it. And then she had like ham, and there was like some sort of brisket or something, which all fucking fell apart. It was like all crumbly beef. She does the ham where it goes like pulled pork nearly, like just shreds the pieces instead of like slicing gammon. This is like pulled ham basically, very sugary. And the turkey was a big crown. It was fucking banging. It was banging. Like if it presented it a bit better, it would have been Michelin star. There was a couple of things I wanted to try, which I just didn't have time to do. I was gonna do cream spinach and all this shit, but I just didn't get fucking time to do it. But it was, yeah, I would say if 5 was Michelin star, I'd say it was a fucking 4.6. And the only thing letting it down really was presentation. Had to set it out better. Adrian Dallas, sounds like a sheriff. Adrian Dallas, how do you keep reinventing the wheel as a comedian? Keeping things fresh, new and exciting year after year. For who? For people watching, or for people, or for me? I don't know. How do you keep reinventing the wheel as a comedian? Things change, you know what I mean? You know, current events change all the time. You can stay commenting on that. Technology changes all the time. How people promote themselves, even how people are creative, changes all the fucking time. But I think the main ingredient is funny, you know, and you can do that whatever fucking style you want, and if people are willing to take it in, then fair enough. I keep reinventing the wheel as a comedian. I don't know, but like, you know, I've never felt like I've been able to coast, like get to a place and be like, this is what I do now. You know, it's not even like, oh, I'm at a certain place now where gigs just sell out every year. Every year it's it's like, what have you put out there? What have you done to get in front of people's faces? And can you fucking make them buy tickets to come see you? And that just over and over again keeps repeating itself, which is why you do burn out sometimes. And I took a conscious decision to like not do any stand-up at all in January. So even if Lavery's was back and stuff, I wasn't going to be performing. And I also want to go do some shit, you know what I mean? I'm like, Aaron told me the other day he was going to New York, and I was like, fuck, I would honestly just go for the fucking sandwiches at this point, just to go do something. But how do you keep reinventing yourself? I don't know. It's like that is in itself being fucking creative. Like, so you just got to keep the foot down. It sort of does it. If you just keep working, that's a good way to put it. If you keep working, you'll fucking find a way. You know what I mean? It's like the Bruce Lee thing. Be like water. You know what I mean? You'll find a fucking lake. You'll find a way to get through the fucking terrain. You know what I mean? Bro, profound. I have a pain in my fucking... It must be a sinus. I don't know what the fuck it is. Fuck, marry, kill. Hitler, Bin Laden, or 3 guys from Derry at the SSE show. Oh my god. Yeah, you got to kill the 3 guys from Derry at the SSE show because they were zombies, man. You couldn't... If cocaine was 3 people, it was them 3. Would you ever consider dramatic acting? That's from Thomas Martin. Have you been to any auditions in the last year? No. Shout out to superfan Faith from the second SSE show. Great show. Okay. Have I done dramatic acting? Would I consider it? I would do it if... Here's what I don't want. I don't want to play that game at all. I don't want to be like on auditions. I don't want to do that. I want someone to maybe be making a thing and go, and it'd be really cool, and someone go, Colin would be perfect for that. And just know that I'd be good at it already. Because I've done that with other people and stuff. I've been like, not that I'm shooting major fucking productions, but I've made things where I'm like, right, my mate Begley's going to be brilliant at that. Just get him to do that. Going to do this. Aaron can do it. Like, I know what people would be good for. And would I consider it? I would. And I'm watching things like that tourist thing where I'm like, man, wouldn't it be class to be in Australia and shooting this fucking like badass series for a while? And it kind of just seems like a one-off, but it'd be good crack. Unreal. But like I said, I'm gonna make a bunch of sketches here, and there's a documentary idea thing that I want to go ahead and shoot, and I just want to do something. The thing is, when you're doing podcasts, and I love podcasting, but it's a treadmill of content. It just keeps pumping out, just boom, like a conveyor belt. And I feel over the last few months, I'm like, I would like to do something that's like a bit standalone. You just go, boom, that was a project. We did some more podcasts. Boom, there's a project. I actually have an idea where I'm like, could I shoot this sort of hour-long documentary thing in a week and do a behind the scenes of that, and also have the actual mock doc come out? So that's an idea that I've got, and I might plan that. Was due to end the year with a giggle night in Derry. However, 3 little pigs decided to huff and puff. Yeah, supposed to do a gig in Derry on the 20th of fucking December in a tent at that what the fuck is it? Ebrington? I forget the name of the square anyway. But the fucking thing blew down. Leads to my question: with all of the gigs in the last 2 years cancelled of COVID, excluding them, what is the best reason to given to you for having to cancel a gig? That's a pretty good one. The tent blew down is a pretty fucking good one, to be honest. Some of them are just shy, like the Lavery's one where they're like, we gotta cancel because there's no staff. You're like, man, what a bummer. What a fucking bummer. Like, what was that question? Excluding them, what was the best reason given to you for having to cancel a gig? I mean, the most depressing one a lot of time is like, yeah, there's just not enough tickets sold, but that hasn't happened in about 10 years, so it's all good. Thank Christ. Have you ever had any stupid road rage altercations? Not really. Do you think you caught COVID from the cesspit in Armagh? Yes! My sister-in-law was at the gig and she is so out with it now. Yeah, everyone got it. And apart from Aaron, who's built different apparently. Just watch your 2020-2021 vlog. Not gonna lie, couldn't stop laughing. Cheers for the pandemic, James. You've been dropping. Have you seen this before? Top movie threats. Oh my goodness Christ. We're running out of time here in the capacity. This is one of the problems with recording at home. We have an hour and a half to play with. Greatest movie threats of all time. Oh, I can't. How long is this? 10 minutes, bro.
You tell him! You tell him I'm coming! Tell him I'm fucking coming!
I'm gonna bring the whole fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head. It's gonna be biblical.
I got something planned for your wife and kid that they ain't never gonna forget. They ain't never gonna forget it. Neither will you, counselor.
You're there in 30 minutes or I find you, Jerry, and I shoot you, and I shoot your fucking wife, and I shoot all your little fucking children, and I shoot them all in the back of their little fucking heads. You got it?
I only tell you one time. Don't fuck me, Tony.
Don't fuck my booty. Don't fuck my bastard. Have you seen the new movie Don't Look Up? No. I love the best of 2021 Christmas pods. Hope you and the family are well. Are you and Maureen still thinking of doing a separate podcast together soon? Yeah. My next project is we have a garage here, like a detached garage, and I want to record in it so I don't have to drive fucking 2 hours to Belfast. So once I get a bit of fucking dry lining done, sir, and a bit of electrics put into it, I'm fucking recording in there. And that's the fucking height of it. I want to try and cut down on my social media time and spend time on other activities. What do you do in your spare time to keep your mind busy? Hope you and Maureen and the child are keeping well and COVID hasn't hit you too bad. From Shanna. Keep your mind busy. I'm the opposite. I need to fucking unbusy my mind. That's what I need to do. But I think, like I said before, trying to decrease the stress in 2000. So loud. Fucking Aaron McCann, bro. Guy's shocking. How long? 2 secs. Fucking recording, you fucking idiot. Yeah, decrease the stress and just make it so, like, be at home so that the very basics can be taken care of, as in get up, work out, record my podcast, faff about a little bit, and then just be at home. That's my plan for 2022. And just actually practice things that do make you feel good, you know. Let me rattle through these. How long have we got left? We've got 6 minutes. What's it like moments before you go on stage at the SSE? Are you just going over the set, or are you just totally in the zone and thinking of fuck all? You see, I used to be very like, right, everyone fuck off, let me write this set. Not, even though you've done it fucking 100 times, you know, on tour, you're like, let me write it out and let me fucking try and go over it in my head. Facts are, you're going to remember it because you've done it so many times, and there is a lot of pressure. There's a lot of adrenaline there that makes your mind sharper, even if you feel a bit overwhelmed. Even if it is a bit of a fucking, you know, panic, like you're falling through space a lot of time. But normally it would just be a panic and you trying to calm your heart rate. But this time was a lot different. I was just like, you know, this time, you know, whether it was the breathing exercises or the fucking thing and whatever, I was just like, how can you fuck this up at this point? Like, how can you I've done content and fucking videos and whatever and stand up and podcasts for years, and people willing to pay money and come out and sit here, and you've done this material, you've done fucking shows, you've sharpened the set, you've been on tour. You're like, what? How the fuck is this gonna go wrong? Quite literally, unless you lose your voice, like before the gig. So it was very it was very zen about it, if that's even a word. I was just like, well, this is the day that we're doing this. I'll be grand. You know, always look at the clock and go, you know, I'll be off. I'll be off. This will be gone in an hour and something. You know, when the hands get round to there, I'll just be fucking out the back eating pizza. So you might as well enjoy it. But that's to be honest, the first night was great, apart from the hecklers, and then, you know, the security don't react to it quick enough, and then because like management and people didn't even fucking pick up on it, Maureen had to tell Mihal, who's our sound tech, to like fucking get a manager to fuck someone out. I had walked off stage and I was like, I'm fucking sacking everybody. Fuck this. Fuck everyone. Fuck the management. Fuck everybody. You can't even pay attention to the fucking show, like. But then the second night, thank God the second night was amazing. First night was amazing too, apart from the hecklers. So you are left with this weird taste in your mouth. The second night was it was the movie, babes. It was an absolute movie. But thanks to everyone who came out. It felt good to get it done. I have a knack of that, to be honest. I don't know how it works out for me, but things start to, or things, they happen usually at the right time. Like, got my shows in 2020 out of the way before COVID came in. Got those ones out of the way. Like, September would have been a bit dodgy. Got them out in December before this other wave came in. You know what I mean? So I feel like I got it all done in like good timing. Attending my first comedy gig in the SSE was unbelievable. Fantastic night, but those Derry games, these Derry boys are getting hammered. Could not take a hint. That's where the "would you fuck up too" button would have been handy. Was meant to see you guys in Derry on the 30th, but unfortunately the tent shit the bed. Any more gigs coming up in Derry? That gig will go ahead at some point. We're just waiting on a reschedule. We'll be making a few trips midweek to Lavery's. Yeah, well, good. We'll give it a month till it's fixed itself again. Lavery's and the tent. So yeah, just seems like a bit of a down period. But we'll come back. We'll come back stiff and hard, bro. That was the last question. Thanks for listening, guys. This will be a regular podcast that will go up across the board. I'm going to try and record a podcast with my actual legal biological wife, just to have a bit of a chat about stuff. That'll be up on Patreon, and we're waiting for a BTS behind the scenes of the SSE, which you'll get on Patreon. Maybe a shorter version might go out publicly as a bit of a teaser. And let me know what you think. When you watch these things on Patreon, give me a thumbs up. Let me know you've seen it, because as we've learned recently, the people who often are the loudest are the ones who are the most negative, and everyone that's happy enough or enjoying themselves is happy enough to do so quietly. So let's drown them out. Let's be the Omicron of soundness. That's it. Getting out of here. My fucking lateral flows are getting fainter and fainter by the second, to the point where you can't even see it. So hopefully I'll be able to go to the bastard in shops, or even my office in Belfast. So that's it, guys. Thanks for listening. Patreon.com/General Banter Podcast if you want to get access to more stuff, both from the previous year and coming up. That's it, guys. Take her easy. Cheers.